Welcome back to the channel for another video on our 05 SCI. This week we got the car back up in the air, and I ended up just trying to get some of these broken bolts out, and I was kind of successful. So let's go into the car and I'll show you what I've done. Let's go. All right, so under the car now you can see we have this trailing arm, we have the new bushing in the rear, and that would be our front trailing arm bushing. But I was able to get the trailing arm, this bolt out right here, and then I was able to get the 3 off that holds it to the frame. And then it was quite a difficult thing to get this bolt out here. But if you look over on this side, it is still all stock. I just got this one taken out. I wasn't sure if I was going to be successful in taking it out, and I didn't know if I was going to film anything, but that was very difficult to get out. Lots of heat. And then the impact gun and just lots of just wiggling, and eventually that bolt came out. So the only thing that we've done before, we just took off the ABS bracket and we just replaced that hardware. So we have new hardware for the rear bolt and our front one. So let's get, since I haven't got this one done yet or anything, I will show you guys how to get this rear bushing out, and then we will work together to get this front bushing out here. So let's get this trailing arm taken off. We'll inspect the condition, and we will go from there as far as refinishing it and removing those bushings. Let's go. And I guess just before we start, I'll show you what the bushings on the passenger side looked like. We did have to cut this one out. This is the front bushing. This is the rear bushing that goes on the knuckle. So you can see our Super Pro replacements and our brand new hardware. We have our copper anti-seize here, so we coat everything with copper anti-seize. We've been lining every single bushing with PTFE and using their installation grease packet. So just want to show you guys what the passenger side looked like. So we're working on the driver's side now. So let's get the trailing arm taken off and we'll inspect it. Let's go. And here we have our trailing arm removed. So pretty crusty, but we can get it all cleaned up. A little bit of flakes, but once we get it wire wheeled, it will look brand new once we get it painted. So I'm just gonna get like this top end, just wire wheeled just a little bit, just to clean up the bolts a little bit. Then we're gonna apply some heat and let's hope it comes off, but let's go. All right, as you saw, we just got the bolt and nut out. It took about 10 or 15 minutes of heating it up, and then it finally came loose. So all the bolts are finally taken out, and we have replacements for everything. So don't really care that some of them got a little rounded up a little bit using that impact. But as you see now, we are burning out this bushing. Once we get it burned out, I'll get the Sawzall out and we cut the inner sleeve out. But I'll catch up with you guys once we get this bushing burned out. There we have it, live action. Just got it knocked out with the hammer after we got it cut with the Sawzall. So you can see the carnage that it was just to get that out. It was actually easier to get the bushing out than to get those dang bolts out. So the rest of this job should be pretty easy and fun. We're just gonna wire wheel this up, get it all painted. I'm also going to wire wheel where the mount bolts onto, and we'll prime that and undercoat that real quick, and let that dry while these guys dry as well. But let's get these wire wheeled and let's get them painted. Let's go. All right, and now with everything wire wheeled, we only have one more bushing to replace, and that is this guy right here. So the only technique that I have to get this one out, there is no metal sleeve. So this is literally just a piece of rubber. I just heat up the knuckle, and it got pretty hot, and I just literally just knocked it with the hammer, and the whole thing just flew out. So we're gonna do that same technique on this side. We'll get the torch under here, we'll heat it up, and we will knock it out. And just like that, our bushing was knocked out. It is still steaming. I just sprayed it with some water because it was pretty toasty, but basically just heated it up, and I did have to use a flathead to just break a little bit of the rubber up, and basically just knocked right out. It took about 10 minutes or so, and we are all done. So we're just gonna let this cool down, then I will wire wheel it, and we will just respray it real quick. It's not going to be perfect on the knuckle. I'm not trying to make it perfect, just a little bit of protection from when we put the new bushing on. But everything is now taken off that needs to be taken off. The rest is pretty easy. We're just going to be installing. So I'm going to get everything painted up. I'll catch up with you guys in just a little bit once everything is done painting. Then we will press the new bushings in. We'll wrap them in the PTFE liner with the grease. But we'll go over that once everything is painted. So catch up with you guys in just a minute. All right, it is the next day, and both of our parts have been painted. It just took extra time for them to cure up, just since it's been so cold outside. But everything has a nice, good coat on it now. Nice and thick on the suspension part. So they don't need to be perfect. They just need to have a good coating on it. So here's the bushing that we are going to press in with our grease. And here's our PTFE thread sealant tape that we wrap the bushing in, then we put the grease on, put the bushing in, and then we also wrap the metal sleeve as well, and we press that in. So let's get all of that done right now on this part. Then we have one other bushing to install on the lower knuckle there, and then we'll get everything installed. And before anyone asks, I do have the OEM manual here, and these are all of the torque specs that we're going to be torquing everything down to. I don't always torque everything down on video, but I do have the OEM book here. It is this one here, the Haynes repair manual. It does have all of the OEM torque specs. So the trailing arm bracket to body, that's going to be 74. And then the front bolt, the one that was really tough to get out, that's 85. So we're going to torque that off the car. You are still able to move the bushing once it is torqued down, but we'll get that torqued down off the car, just since there is no room on the car to get a wrench on that nut. And then the trailing arm to the rear knuckle, that's only 60. That's only 66. So we can do all of those on the car minus this 85. We'll get this one torqued off the car, but these are all the torque specs. So if you guys want to reference anything, you can screenshot this now. And just like that, our driver's side trailing arm is reinstalled. Everything went on pretty smooth. Everything just got torqued down, and everything, you can see a little bit of the anti-seize coming out of this bolt here, but everything has been anti-seize coated, and we are good to go. Well, that wraps up our install on the trailing arm bushings on our 05 STI. I'm really excited that we've gotten a lot of these bushings completed. I really can't wait to get this car back on the road and just feel everything that we've done. But until next time, see you guys.